Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Dream, and you are here at a sub podcast of the It's All Good show. This is EESystem Center owners interviews, and I say it every time, and I probably will say it every time after this. This is one of my favorite podcasts to do because, first off, my own experience in the EE system, how it helped facilitate a miraculous healing from back-to-back strokes I had in 2020. And then I've been to over 40, my wife and I have been to over 40 EE system centers around the country. And one of the things we found is the owners of these centers are some of the most amazing people we've ever met. And I don't always interview people that we have met in person, but today is another special treat because recently Stephanie and I had the opportunity to meet Angela in person, but let me introduce them first and then I'll go into that. Today, as the guests on our show is Angela and Mike Passage, and they have the Enhanced Energy Wellness in Murrieta, California. Welcome to the It's All Good show.
Thank you very much for having us. What a pleasure.
Thank you.
I love this because Stephanie and I were gifted a couple of passes at the Murrieta Hot Springs, which is right near where your location. And we reached out, and it was actually we got a message on Facebook that day from you, Angela. You commented on a post that we had and said, anytime you're near here, let us know. And I was like, we're driving to Murrieta right now. And it was a treat. You had us over and we got to hang out with you in your 8-unit EE system. And it was super powerful for us. We love the whole energetic of your space. We loved being in the 8-unit. Everything was just, I mean, I love it all, but it was a remarkable experience being there, and it was really highlighted by our conversation with you and your commitment and dedication to bringing this energetic to your community. And so before we get too far ahead, like I already did, let's back up a little bit. How did you first find out about EE System?
Well, I saw an interview that went viral. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
Yes. So after I saw that interview, I thought, wow, this sounds like something that I would like to do. So naturally, I talked to Mike about it and I said, what do you think? Should we do this?
And so we prayed about it a lot. We've both been in the healing ministry since 2014, and it's always been a passion for us anyway to just see the amazing things that our bodies can do and the amazing things that God can do for people. At that time, Angela was looking for work in the medical industry, but there was also this poke that most people had to be taking, that I had actually met one of the Pfizer vice presidents that quit because he said nobody should be taking that jab. And just out of the blue, I met him and he was telling everybody that would hear. And so it all just happened, not by coincidence, but in the right timing. We had a little money put aside and said, hey, let's check a few out and let's give it a try.
So there were already some set up in Southern California, so you had opportunity to go visit a couple of centers anyway. Tell me what it was like when you first had the experience of walking into one of the EE system center rooms with the monitors and all that energy. How did it feel and what was your experience from it?
Okay, well, I went to the center in Encinitas. That's the one that kind of stood out the most for me. I have never felt anything like that before, sitting in the chair. And it was very relaxing. I fell asleep within minutes. And I noticed my body was starting to heal because I had a lot of health issues at the time. And I was looking for alternative treatments instead of taking medications. So I signed up for a package. Actually, Mike bought the package for me. And he came a couple times, but he said, no, this is for you. It's okay. So I made the trip down there, and then I realized it was a little bit too far for me to drive each time. So that's when we decided to look in our area
Yeah.
to open.
So yeah, so we tried one in Orange County, and you could tell there was something special about it. But for us personally, it wasn't a great fit. And then we did check out, do you know the name of Brad's one of the owners, an amazing, great, just welcoming love guy, Vitality Wellness,
Yeah.
just an amazing guy. And his room was extremely comfortable. So when we tried that one there too, we took more of what we saw and learned at Brad's place. And we said, hey, we're going to do it more like that with the really comfortable recliners, with just a simple space inside, and then just put our flair into it and see what happens. But yeah, I could at Brad's place too. At the Orange County place, I fell asleep, but not as long. At Brad's place, I think he had to wake us up, wake us both up.
Well, I have to say, those chairs that you have in your center, so incredibly comfortable. And Angela, as you will recall, Stephanie, while she keeps telling me she didn't actually fall asleep while you and I were talking, she certainly had her eyes closed and there was a little dozing going off there, but that's how comfortable it is. And I think it also, I just have to say, and I say this all the time, an EE system is an EE system is an EE system, but the energy of the owners, the stewards of the energy of this system is what sets it apart. And Mike, you weren't there, so this is strictly just focused on Angela, although your energy is part of it. But you are such a loving and compassionate and caring person, and it just comes across. I mean, even if we hadn't had the conversation we had, I would have said that about you. If we had just said hello and you said, hey, go in there and sit for a little while and hang out, I would have left and said, wow, can you feel her energy? But it's beyond that. And I watch your posts online, and I just I have a tremendous honor and respect for you and for how much you care, and the role that you have decided to play with the tool that you now have available. And so you opened August of 2023. So you're coming up on your 2-year anniversary. You've had a number of people obviously through there. I read about your testimonials all the time. Give us some of that, share some of that with us.
All right. Well, one of my favorites is we have an amazing gentleman. I'm going to hold off on his name because he's super analytical, and he's such a neat and amazing guy. He has cancer and bladder. It's bladder cancer and had bladder cancer.
Love that.
Yeah, exactly. And so he was taking the drive to other centers too, and was like watching, because when we ordered the equipment from EESystem, they said coming soon to Murrieta, and he was like, wow, yeah. And so he was actually our first client as well. And just a really amazing, neat guy, but spent his entire life in science and in computers. And so is very analytical. So one of his first testimonies is he had to get surgery for some tumors. And when the doctor went in, after that, everything was all done, the doctor goes, yeah, we didn't get half of what we thought we were looking for, or at least some smaller portion than what they thought they were going to be finding inside. Close them all up, He's still seeing a doctor regularly and going through things. And his last 3 blood works have come out perfect. And his own words were, the doctor said, I don't understand. I don't understand. The meds shouldn't be doing it this quickly and this well. And so just love the fact that he's still like, well, I don't know, but the only difference is
Yeah.
but he's a really neat, amazing guy.
And he didn't want to tell the doctor that he purposely didn't take the meds.
Yeah, that's right. He
But-
stopped taking the meds to the degree he was given. Yeah.
But we don't advise people not
Oh,
to
yeah,
take
yeah.
meds. So.
Yes.
Right. And it's that thing where what we know about the EE system is what it's doing is it's just bringing your body up to that peak level where it can do what God intended for our bodies to do, which is heal themselves. And
Yep.
so, and that's a really important point about it. But let's hear a couple more testimonials.
Okay, I'm going to share about a former Air Force pilot. He came in. He had a couple of
Strokes.
he had a couple of botched back surgeries, which put him into a couple strokes. I don't know how that works, but he had 2 strokes. He came in a wheelchair. He was paralyzed basically from his up here down. He couldn't feel his arms or legs. So we got him in the room, and the wife was an absolute wreck. So I prayed over her, and she started feeling calmer. Got her in the room. So they signed up for a 2-hour session, but I let them stay longer because they came kind of far. And when we wheeled him out, he says, "Oh my gosh, I'm starting to feel my arms and legs." But let me back up. When they first wheeled him into our center, I was inside. I was like crying because his face was so distorted. His eye was down to here, the other eye. And so they came in, they did 3 hours here. They went home, and she called me a few days later, and she's screaming, "You're not going to believe this. Oh my God, I can't believe this." I said, "Tell me what's happening." And she said, "His face is completely back to normal." It went back. And I was like,
Wow.
Oh my gosh, thank you, God.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so again, we can't guarantee any healing because, like you said, it's God and our bodies working together to heal themselves. So we can't say or claim anything specific, but there have been 2 drastic changes as well. A nurse of like 30 years, 35 years came in.
40 plus years.
Yeah. Came through, sat in one session, and came out going, my neuropathy is entirely gone after one session. Crazy.
Love that.
Another young lady came in and said that she had tinnitus, really bad ringing in one ear. Doctors couldn't do anything, told her to go to a chiropractor. Chiropractor took some scans, x-rays, did a few adjustments. She left saying that, yeah, the tinnitus was gone. The very next day, it came back, bothering her to no end. She came in here for 1 hour session, which we don't recommend, right? We recommend get the full 2 hours in, get 30 hours in your first month if you have serious illnesses. But after just a 1 hour session, she's like, it's gone. It's completely gone. And according to her friend, hasn't come back. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's tonight.
Yeah, we've seen
I mean,
it
that's big. That's one of those things that people are like, okay, I'm just going to have to live with this the rest of my life. And it was whatever needed to happen in her body, in her system, that then she could finally be at a level that her body could handle or take care of whatever it needed to do. Love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Who else do you want to share?
I was thinking Evelyn's knee. So before we even opened, we had a group of friends come to, dedicate our place and just pray a blessing over our establishment. And one young lady had been having knee pain forever. Again, hour and 15 minutes. Nobody fell asleep because we were talking and just showing the place to a group of friends. And they walked down the stairs. She's like, "Oh my God, my knee pain is gone." And she did the stairs, and then she was so excited she walked back up the stairs and back down the stairs. And just saw her today, and she's walking absolutely fantastic, pain free. So, again, after just 1 hour, her body said, "Oh, I just need to do this," and ready to go.
All right, and then
Right.
we do overnight sessions as well on Fridays. Do you want to talk about the veteran? True things.
Oh,
Okay,
so,
yeah.
yeah, amazing, great family, a veteran, and the VA system has not been kind to them in any way, shape, or form. And they come a decent distance. They travel about an hour and a half to get here. And they did an overnighter. So just amazing. He is in a walker, hunched over. He had a lesion on one ankle that just wasn't healing. And then so after that 10-hour session, we didn't see him for 2 weeks. I think it was. It was about 2 weeks before they came back. And he came back and no walker. Scooting right along. Is that
Well, when
correct?
he came out,
When he came out,
when he
no,
came
yeah.
out, he was walking fast. Come on, let's go, everybody. Or they would normally be waiting for him.
And he showed me that the lesion that just wasn't healing, the lesion, sorry, that wasn't healing, that skin had all covered over. You could still see the mark, but
Yeah.
it was already in scab form. So it was awesome.
It was speeding up the healing.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of athletes that came through that had, for professional dirt bike riders and motorsports. They come in all broken arms and everything, and they come out and, oh my gosh, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely speedier healing, a lot of eyesight healing, floaters and things like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I'm a relatively healthy guy. And so people ask us all the time, well, what have you noticed? What have you seen? And I'm like, well, I've been relatively healthy. So I just appreciate the fact that I've got a little more energy to get through, job that I do. But then I noticed, I love but I noticed. I think those testimonies are the best. So I grew up in Southern California. I grew up surfing. So I've always had a little concern about possibly getting skin cancer because I got a lot of friends that have been going through it. And I had a dark spot under my eye. And even though you can't see it now, that's the reason that this is a testimony, is you would have been able to see it 2 months ago, 3 months ago. So, a good time in the system, good time of being here. But that, you know, beauty mark, for lack of a better term, although I didn't have it since birth. And then also I had a hard spot on my face, and it's completely soft and gone now. So my own personal testimony is, hey, my skin's now baby smooth.
I love it.
and those are
And
angel beauty
Those
marks.
are freckles, yeah.
and Mike, that brings up a really good point. Some people say, "Oh, I'm fine. I don't need any of this." And it's like, you know what? Being proactive and going in there and just getting recharged, even if you don't have the C word, even if you don't have this, that, or the other thing going on, is a really powerful way to stay at that level. I just have to point out one other thing that everyone that's watching this already knows. Your energy is off the charts. And so I know that you have a very taxing regular job during the week and everything else. And it's nice to feel your energy like this. Now, one of the things that I'm obviously picking up from the two of you is that you get supercharged playing this role in your community for people that you were divinely guided. You said you prayed over this and really asked God, source, the universe to help you with your decision to do this, because it's no small thing that you've taken on. It's like there's people think, oh, it's just the cost of the equipment. And it's like, no, you know what? It's not just the cost of the equipment. That's the initial thing. And you had the money put aside, but it's the commitment and dedication. It's the heart and soul that is required for you to put in there all the time. And so talk to us a little bit about because I know you're deeply faith-based. And so talk to us a little bit about how that plays into all of this. And Angela, you said that you prayed for the person's wife because she wasn't the one afflicted, but she was on the emotional level really needing that. Talk to us about God and the role of prayer in all of this, because I think you have a beautiful perspective on it.
Okay. Well, first of all, I always offer if people want prayer. I don't actually push it on anybody because we have a lot of people of different faiths coming in. But I do pray in the name of Jesus over people. And this is key. We actually have a couple rooms here, and our waiting room area. We've actually, sometimes when Mike is here with me, we'll actually offer to pray over people. And some people actually got healed before they went into the room. So, and they like that, but they still went in the room.
Yeah. So just,
But
a little bit more about us. We are
Yeah.
devout Christians. I was consecrated as a pastor and, not going to walk away or shy around it in any way, shape, or form. We've been working with God's Grace Ministries, God's Grace Healing Rooms specifically since 2014. Just watching God work and doing amazing things, so that we knew part of our thing was bring Jehovah Rapha, God, I am the God that heals you, as he told the Israelites in Exodus. But I do want everybody to understand, we love you. I nobody is not welcome in this room. Come. We love you. We're not gonna, shame anybody. We're not gonna waggle a finger at anybody. We know God loves everybody as much as he loves us. And that's all we want to share with the world.
It's a beautiful thing, and everything that I've said about the two of you so far in this conversation just brings me to bring up the point that you're two of those people out here in this rather chaotic world who are an extension of God source, the universe, and you have stepped up to that. I did not know that you were a pastor. But I feel it. I definitely feel it, and I love it. And it makes a difference. It's all that energy and that belief, and then that's the energy of your center there is deeply rooted in the belief of God heals all who ask to be healed and who desire to be healed, and that the EE system is like an integral part of assisting on that level. I love this. I really, I meet the coolest people, and I think it's just great. So you have packages, you recommend 2 hours, like all the centers. It's like if you've really got something going on, you try and get the most amount of hours that you can possibly get in the shortest amount of time to have the greatest impact. And so I know you have different packages and things like that. And then you offer the overnights on Friday night, which what time does that start?
It starts at 7:30.
And goes
7:30,
until
6 a.m. Saturday.
okay, so you're getting a nice, what is that, 10 and a half hours of full on energy from the scalar waves and just all that healing. And that makes a really big difference. You've got a great location there. You've got fabulous parking. You have the elevator, or as people experience their own healing, the stairs, so they can hit the point home for themselves and for their families. Is there anything that we've left out of this conversation? Anything that you want to touch on that we haven't touched on yet?
One of the things I want to talk about is the importance of doing these detox salt bath after your session. So that's the second part of the protocol. And we recommend that people do it within 24 hours, preferably the evening of their session. where they can go to the gym first or go for a brisk walk or even to the sauna before they do their detox bath. But that is so very, very important. I have people that called me and said, I forgot to do the bath. And how come I feel a little achy? I said, go do your bath and hydrate and call me back. Oh my gosh, I wish I would have listened to you the first time. That's awesome. So we really stress that. Everybody who does come to our center, they do get a sheet that says where they can go get the ingredients from. We also do sell prepackaged to-go bath bags too. So, but that is so very important is combining it with the EE system session and the bath is, I look at it as one thing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You cannot play down the importance of the salt detox bath, and it's a combination of high grade salts, baking soda, and borax, and it just as the EE system pulls the impurities up to the surface, the salt bath, as hot of water as you can do it in for like 20 to 30 minutes, just pulls it all out. And people talk about how the water is just, like darker when they get out and all this. And I mentioned, chaotic world, but also it's a toxic soup that is, we're all sort of swimming around in all the time. And it's incredibly important. So I'm so glad that you brought that up and you do make that available for people. And I've always said, step one, get into the EE system. Step two, do the detox bath. And when we were on tour and doing sound healing events all over the country, sometimes we'd be in systems for 40, 50 hours a week. And living in an RV, we didn't always have a bathtub available. I would start to get headaches because the toxins just had nowhere to go and they really needed to get out. So key point, and I'm glad that you brought that up. Is there anything else you want to leave us with before we say goodbye?
The only other thing is it really is amazing. In this world, everybody's looking for that instant shot, right? Big pharma, we've got that pill. It'll help you with that one system, but these other 8 things that are always going to attack your body afterwards. But but I think everybody's looking for a miracle. And so I just want people to have a realistic expectation that, yeah, your body will do the miraculous. God will do the miraculous with you. And sometimes it's instant and sometimes it's over time. So a lot of people go, I was in there for an hour and I didn't feel anything. Well, I've been in there for quite a few more hours and I still don't feel anything when I go in the system because my body isn't made that way or, whatever. But change does happen. And, when people are at stage 4 of the C word, it took your body how long to get there? And you
Right.
want it on in 2 hours? We do too. And we'd love to see that. And we will pray to see that. But more often than not, it's going to take 100 hours. It's going to take more time to see your body reverse everything that it's been put through.
That's exactly right. And I find myself saying it all the time: believe it, allow it, experience it. And we play a key role. I've seen people go into EE system centers and not really believe that it's going to do, what on one hand they say they want it to do, but they don't have the belief. And it still is working, but it's not going to work as fast as when you really believe it, you really allow it, and faith in whatever your belief is in the greater power that has us here plays a key role. And you all are you're doing a great job there. I am so happy that we got to meet Angela in person, that I got to hang out with you today, Mike, and we will be back one day. So anyone in Southern California or other places that want to take a little road trip and have an experience at an EE System Center, go to the hot springs, maybe spend Friday night at the Enhanced Energy Wellness Center there in Murrieta, spend all day Saturday at the hot springs and go home feeling amazing on Sunday. It's like you've got a destination, all set up there, not to mention what you offer to your local community. So thank you for doing everything that you do. Thank you for being on the It's All Good show. We appreciate you, and from my heart to yours, you're doing good stuff.
Thank you, Mark. It was a pleasure.
And an honor. We appreciate
Yes.
it.